Hi, I'm Timmy Neal from Ypsilanti, Michigan, competitor for Big Fan Racing for the Camping World Truck Series of 2014.
Hi, I'm Lexi Derosha. I'm 16 years old from Ypsilanti, Michigan, and my dad, Tim Neal, has helped me through so many tough experiences in my life. Please help and support him with his new adventure and new experience for Big Fan Racing competition.
Hey, Josh. Hey, man, wait a minute. Doggone it. These low riding cars.
Yeah, as a kid, through racing and everything, had broken bones, but then I began just getting the flu symptoms in the third grade, and parents kept taking me to the doctor, and they couldn't figure out what it was, and they were like, only thing that comes up in his blood work is stomach cancer, and my parents never told me for a long time what it was. So I was going to radiation treatments and all that, treated for cancer. I was in the hospital for 3 months straight. Actually got held back in school, and my dad and our family was real affiliated with church, and my testimony is that I was prayed for and healed. There's a miracle that happened. And I went back for more tests, and they said all we see now is a parasite in the stomach after all the treatment and everything, and got that taken care of, and been clean bill of health since, other than crashing.
So my health problems started in 2009. I went away on a weekend, and I don't really know what happened. No one knows what happened. I came back, and I didn't feel well the next morning. I was supposed to go to school, and my mom came home from work later that morning, and I was like jaundice. Like my whole entire body was just like the color of mustard. I was so yellow. And we ended up going to the hospital, the emergency room, and none of the doctors could find out what was wrong with me. I spent a couple months in the hospital, and they gave me a bunch of things that might be wrong with me, and they all ended up turning out to be not what was wrong with me. And then the day my liver was causing me to be jaundice, I guess. And so the day my liver got better is the day my blood went bad, or my bone marrow. And then they gave me aplastic anemia. They told me my disease was aplastic anemia, very severe, which is the worst stage it could be. And that's where your body doesn't make the blood it needs to survive. So like white blood cells, platelets, and red blood cells my body didn't make. So I was going to the hospital 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for blood transfusions, which is also why we should donate blood to help cancer patients. And then I would also go a little bit on Sunday to the ER when the clinic wasn't open to get a little bit more blood to help me survive till Monday. So I basically just survived on blood transfusions, and we tried ATG, and my body rejected the ATG, and I had to have a bone marrow transplant. So we put me on I needed to receive bone marrow from a donor on the list. And my donor ended up being a 55-year-old male out of Missouri. And luckily, when they gave me his bone marrow, they gave me chemo and everything to set my body to get ready for bone marrow transplant. And then when they gave me his bone marrow that night, 2010, March 3rd, everything's been great from there. I didn't have any complications like all the doctors said I would, and it's been good.
Children is a big part of my racing career. do a lot with children. You know, I have children of my own, but I see young kids at the track. I always make a point to talk to them.
Yeah? Yeah, we can do that.
All right, thanks. Give me a big PR stuff. Okay. That really is nice dress.
There's a lot of
Help expedite gate entry.
Thank you for coming.
Purchase multiple tickets.
I just like to see a little kid smile, you know, and it makes my day.
I knew they couldn't have going on. Good job, buddy. Good job. When that caution came out, I was like, you got me now. Here you go, buddy.
I know.
You earned it. Remember what I tell you.
Our Tim's and mine relationship has definitely become more personal. He was like a big brother to me, and he still kind of is, but more now I think of him more as like a father figure, kind of like a hero to me, because he shows me a lot of new things and what I'm supposed to do. He really helps me to be the person that I am today and become a better race car driver just by being with him and being around him in the environment that he's in. Helps me a lot. So, I mean, we've become pretty close. Everywhere he goes that he can take me, he does, to give me new experiences and new things to do.
Give it a little bit, you know, just trying to get more by different streets.
Gave it 2 cranks?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Probably right on.
Next weekend. Friday instead.
Here, bud. Thank you.
We'll go back to New Mexico, Scott.
You got it. It's my little hero right there. My mini-me.
And I did meet a very special young lady racing sprint cars. She had a bone marrow transplant, 5% chance to live. I ended up dating her mom, and currently we're still together, and she's racing along with me. And when I met her, she was struggling a little bit with her racing career, just got into it, kind of took her under my wing, and now she sits third in points.
Me racing kind of came in the middle of it. I went to MIS on a hospital trip during my sickness within my 3 years, and I had never watched NASCAR. I mean, I knew of it, but I didn't really understand it. I didn't know any of the people, so I went there and I got to sit down, you know, in the suite on the inside and meet a bunch of drivers with all these other sick kids, and just meeting them and seeing what they do and how passionate they are about the sport made me want to try it out. And I met a kid named Josh Hobson. And he was a go-kart racer, so he kind of started talking to me about it, and he kind of was my inspiration to get started in go-karts, so that's kind of where I started out.
You're up next to qualify. How about that? 9 minutes.
So my mom and I ended up purchasing a sprint car. We were at the indoors in the Deltaplex or whatever, and that's when I actually first met Tim, was on the indoor season of what would have been 2 years ago. And I don't know, we kind of started talking a little bit, and he was like, you know, since you're going to come out to Jackson, you know, pit by us, we'll help you get through this season, you know, I'll get you to where you need to be. So he really took me under his wing, since it was my first year in a sprint car, and he knew that would help me. So we ended up getting here or whatever, and we had a lot of motor issues and problems, and Tim would always be the one to come over and help me you know, this is what you need to do. This is right. This is wrong. He took me out on the track a lot after the races and everything to show me his line and where he thinks I should turn and, you know, brake and gas. It just all really helped a lot to become the driver that I am today. Am I gonna beat Tim tonight? Oh gosh. Would I like to? Yes, I'd like to beat Tim every weekend, but he's got more experience than I do, so I mean, I can usually stay in front of him if I get put out there for a little bit, but I mean, I'm gonna try my best and we'll see what happens. To battle with Tim and where I'm at in points is definitely huge for me. I mean, to think a couple years ago that I had 5% chance to live, and you know, now that everything's just kind of like in perspective or whatever, I'm like gonna cry. To know that I'm actually like alive and to know I'm actually alive and to be able to do this sort of stuff and to be able to be close to people and have great experiences like I do and like I have, I'm very thankful that I can be able to be out there and race for points and race against everybody that I'm out there with.
Yeah, we go to Children's Mod Hospital and mentor sick children and to show them, you know, that there is cure and there is people and miracles that happen. You know, and don't give up. You know, just because you're sick doesn't mean you can't do something.